Hey guys, it's Bree. Welcome to my channel, Just Breezy. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Just be sure you hit that bell for notifications because I don't want you to miss out. We upload weekly content to share resources, help spread awareness, and tell some of life's stories because like we say, life isn't always just breezy, but together it can be a little easier. Now guys, this is part 3 of this series. I'm not really sure what I'm going to call it yet, but it's where I'm at right now after the passing of my stepmom. It's just things I want to talk about because I can't seem to talk about anything else right now, and that's okay. It's important stuff because all of us are going to be at a point in our lives where we're saying goodbye to somebody, or we're that person that people are saying goodbye to. It's not a happy topic, but it's one that we all have to face. So this video, this is part 3. I'm talking to people who have kids in their lives, you mommies and daddies, or those of you who have children in your family, and now you need to tell them that somebody passed away. You have to tell them grandma died, grandpa died, whoever it is passed away. And depending on the age of your child, they're going to react differently. You might have an 8-year-old that is really in touch with their feelings, was really close with that person, and breaks down and cry, or they may not. You know, it's really interesting reading, if you ever have time and you're interested, to sort of read about the grieving process for people at different ages and developmentally where they're at. And it's almost a blessing for children that, in general, maybe they don't feel that devastation right away, or at least the same way that an adult might feel it. They don't feel those same burdens of, I say burden, but it's more responsibilities, right? Of doing the closing down of the accounts and the going through the things. They may not understand the finality of it. And that's okay. We have a 5-year-old son and an 8-year-old daughter. My 5-year-old son had a very different bond with my stepmom. If you checked out our adoption story, she was a huge part of his life for 2 years. She was his mom for 2 years. And when we told him, he said he was sad, but he didn't cry. He was sad because he knew that he had a toy car at her apartment that she promised to fix him, and she didn't. So he was sad about that. The next day, he had made a comment to my husband that grandma's in heaven, but wanted to know if he could FaceTime her. So, it's like he has the language that she's in heaven, and, I told him that grandma believed in Jesus and God, and that's where she's at, and hopefully she's with her daughter who had passed away at a very young age. And he was like, okay, can I FaceTime her? So it just shows that lack of true understanding for the situation. He said he had questions about the food that was on her tray at the hospital. He was concerned that she wasn't drinking almond milk. And last night I put him to bed, and he wanted to know about the eggs that were on her tray, the hard-boiled eggs, and it reminded him of us coloring Easter eggs with her last year, and he said he's pretty sure she brought them up to heaven to eat. My daughter, who's 8, I told her that grandma had died. She knew she was going to die. We prepared her. And I realized that she started to almost try to make herself cry, and I said, Rye, you don't have to cry. She said, but I'm sad. And I'm like, I understand you're sad, but if your body doesn't feel like crying, if you don't feel like crying, you don't have to. But she thinks that that's what she needs to do. And she said to me, and guys, this is so important if you have a family member in the hospital and you have children that you want to bring up. People have different feelings on that. But if you're comfortable bringing your child up to spend time with your loved one who's going to pass away, they have people called child life specialists at the hospital, and they are magical human beings. I did my internship with the child life department, and one of their many jobs is to help children through the grieving process. So I contacted a child life specialist, and she met my daughter before we took her to see grandma. And she explained to her with visuals, here's a healthy cell, here's what one that has cancer looks like, this is what it's doing to grandma's body, this is where she's at right now with the fact that she's going to die. And she said to her, if you're missing grandma, you just know she's in your heart. And if you miss her, think of a happy thought, think of a happy memory. And she let her draw her pictures and write a letter if she wanted. And after my stepmom had passed, my daughter said, but Mom, she's in your heart. All you have to do is think of a happy memory. And I realized that came directly from the child life specialist. And that's what was helping my daughter. And I'm like, good, if you can hold on to that. I can't, I can't right now. Mommy's sadness is a little bigger than that, but I love that. I love that she was able to help her through that, and she's holding on to that. And now, a few days later, she's starting to process it, and she's starting to ask for pictures of Grandma, and she's starting to ask, was there any way they could have helped her? But if you have children, another thing is it's okay. It's okay for them to see you sad. It's okay for them to see you crying. My kids saw me cry. They knew I was sad. They knew something sad had happened. It's okay for them to see that emotion. You know, after a while, I kind of retreated down to the basement little area because I just wanted to be by myself. But I didn't try to hide from them that I was sad. They asked if I was crying. I didn't lie about it. Yeah, I was crying because I'm sad. Mommy's sad, and it's okay. It's okay to be. And I won't cry forever like this. And I might cry, you know, at random times, but that's okay. You need for them to know that crying and being sad in adults, it's okay to see that. And just be there for them. Be ready for the questions. Be honest, you know. And realize that they're not going to grieve the same way. You know, they might grieve inwardly and they don't show it outwardly, and so you don't realize that they're like grieving, that they're hurting. Things might come up weeks later. You know, I have a feeling that when my dad comes over for the first time without Grandma, that's going to be sort of like eye-opening for them. But, you know, again, if you're a parent or if you're a family with children that you want them to come to the hospital, just remember a child life specialist. Just ask the doctor, hey, is there a child life specialist on call, or I'm planning on bringing my daughter up tomorrow? And you can talk to them and say, this is the time they're coming, and plan that out. It's so important. It really is. You don't know what that person is going to say to your child that's going to stick to them, you know, stick with them and help them through it. But, all right, guys, listen, that's it for this video. It's just really important. It's important if you're a mommy, if you're a daddy, if you're a parent, if you have a child in your family and they're going through this too, to just acknowledge their feelings. Woof-ah. Guys, thank you. Thank you always for your support, commenting, liking, sharing, all that good stuff. If you like this, found it helpful, give it a like, scroll down past the other videos, leave a comment. I'd really appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon.